short little video to help treat the body through yoga therapy for plantar fasciitis. So we'll start standing, and we're just going to work through foot and knee alignment briefly. Usually plantar fasciitis originates with the weight being distributed unevenly on the feet. So either you're supinating or pronating, most likely, which will throw the knee out of alignment with the ankle. So if you are pronating, that means you're standing on the inside edge of the feet more prominently. So you're putting more weight into the ball of the big toe and the inside edge of the heel. If you're supinating, you're somebody who puts more weight on the pinky edge and the pinky edge of the foot, the outer edge of the foot. So it's a good idea to determine what your pattern is. And a good way to do that is just to stand with your ankles under your knees, so a few inches apart, knees under hips. So try to align your feet underneath your hips. Put a soft bend in the knees, just a gentle micro bend, and lift all your toes off of the mat. Now place your big toe down, and then your little toe down, and then release all the other toes if you haven't already. And bring extra weight to the big toe ball of the foot. Now bring extra weight to the little toe ball of the foot. And go back and forth a couple times. Big toe ball, little toe edge, big toe ball, little toe edge. Now we'll go to the heel. 4 corners of the foot. We found the 2 corners of the front of the foot. Now we'll move to the heel. So inside of the heel gets the weight, then outside of the heel gets the weight. Inside, outside, a couple times. Now we're going to try to distribute the weight evenly in the 4 corners of the feet. So bring the weight to the big toe ball, bring the weight to the little toe edge, bring the weight to the inside heel, bring the weight to the outside heel. And just feel what that feels like in your body to have the weight distributed evenly. And it might feel like you have a little pressure on the knees, and if it does, that's probably because you have a pattern that either sends your knees out and away from each other or in like a more knock-knee position. So that's helpful to determine, because then you can be aware of your knee alignment and the weight on your feet as you move through any kind of exercise at all, or even just walking. So once you determine if you need to bring more weight to the inside or the outside, just remember how this feels in your legs. Now from here, draw your pubic bone to your belly button, engage your belly, and just gently slide your shoulders down your back like you're going to put them in your back pockets. Stand up tall, reach through the crown of the head. This is known as mountain pose in yoga. And then release those engagements. Keep your knees right where they are. Think about keeping the knees lined up over the ankles and the weight evenly in the feet. Take your hands to your hips and bend your knees like you're going to sit down in a chair. You don't have to go down terribly far. Just notice if you rolled your weight to the inside of the foot or the outside of the foot, or if you can keep the weight distributed to those 4 corners. And then press to stand, trying to keep the weight evenly distributed. We'll do that 4 more times. Sink weight in the 4 corners of the feet and stand. Sink and stand. So if your knees want to knock together, draw them in alignment with the 3rd toe of your foot. Sink and stand. Maybe this will be a little deeper. Sink in and send your weight back a little bit into the heels, but evenly on both inside and outside of the heel. And then press to stand. Now we're going to do something called roll up, roll down. And we'll start with rolling down. This will work to hydrate and lengthen the superficial back line of the fascia in the body, which runs from the back of the toes, through the arch of the foot, up the Achilles tendon, up the calf, up the back of the legs, all the way up the back, up the neck, and stops at the top of the eyebrows. 1 sheet of connective tissue. And this is going to help to hydrate it and loosen it up. Draw your chin into your chest. Roll your shoulders forward so you have a roundness to your upper back. Take a deep breath into that roundness. Exhale, roll down just a little bit. Let the hands be heavy till you have a bit of roundness in your middle back. Take a deep breath into that roundness. And then exhale, roll down till you feel some roundness in your lower back. There's a softness to the knees. The weight is distributed evenly through those 4 points. Take a deep breath into the roundness of the low back. As you exhale, come down to your furthest point without straining. The knees can be nice and soft. Release the crown of the head. Now, as you take this last breath, breathe in, imagining you're breathing into the bottom of the feet, the back of the legs, the full spine, the neck, and even the crown. Big inhale. And then exhale, see if there may be a little more space to release and relax forward. And then check in with the 4 corners of the feet. Make sure you're not hyperextending the knees. There's a micro bend in the knees. And now we're going to roll up with the same intention. Nice soft knees, weight evenly distributed in the feet. Pull the belly in. Take a deep breath in. Start to roll up 1 vertebra at a time. Soft knees, you're unfurling the spine 1 vertebra at a time. Nice and slow. The head and shoulders are the last to arrive at the top. Stand with weight evenly distributed in the feet. 1 more time, we'll roll down, draw the chin in. We'll go a little quicker this time. Roll the shoulders in, inhale, round the back, exhale, inhale, round the lower back, exhale, come down to your furthest forward folds, soft knees. 1 big breath into the back line of the body. Exhale, release maybe a little more. The crown of the head is heavy toward the floor. And then we'll come up. Bend the knees a little bit, pull the belly in. Think about using the strength in your belly to support the back line as you unfurl. Breath is full and even. Head and shoulders are the last to arrive. Pick your shoulders up toward your earlobes and glide them down your back like you're putting your shoulder blades in your back pocket, and then pull your belly in firm. Check in with the distribution of weight in the feet. Great. Now we're going to come on down to hands and knees, and we're going to just take a gentle stretch of the arch of the feet and toes. Now, if this creates any pain for you, then that's too much, and you're going to skip this and maybe come back to it after you've worked through this video a couple times. Come on to hands and knees and tuck the toes underneath. And I like to reach back and make sure the little toes, the outer toes, are also tucked under. And you are going to decide when you reach your edge. You're just going to start to press into the hands and send the seat back toward the heels. Should be a pretty intense stretch. You might want to walk the feet close enough that the big toes are touching. That'll be more intense. If you separate them a little bit, it'll be less intense. So pressing the seat back, you will decide once you've reached your stopping point, and there you'll take 5 long breaths. If this starts to become more available, you can eventually bring your shoulders over your heels. That will be a lot of weight, big stretch. Again, very important that there's not pain here. If this is painful, it's too much. You don't want to inflame the fascial tissue in the feet. Another way to modify this to make it a little more available as you move along through this stretching practice is to place a yoga block under your seat on top of your heels. You could do this also with a firm cushion. 5 breaths here. Now, if you've been here already, you might be almost close to 5 breaths, so just stay as long as you like, or again, with hands on the mat still is fine. Go ahead and release the feet, come onto hands and knees, and just gently tap the feet out. Great. Draw your seat back toward your heels and just come on to your bottom. Take your legs around in front of you. And we're gonna come into the L-shaped seat. Now you might wanna do this at a wall the first 20 times you do it. And you would just have your back, you would scoot your hips up so they're nice and firm against the wall, and use the wall for the support for the back. If this starts to feel more available, that you can sit in the L-shaped seat, your legs out in front of you, your feet are active, so they're not just sitting there. You want to spread the toes, and think about the four corners of the feet being engaged, as if you were standing. And then take your arms overhead, line your biceps up with the ears, pull the belly in, tuck the ribs down, and glide your shoulders down the back like you're putting them in your back pockets again. The L-shaped seat is much harder than it seems like it should be, so if this is hard for you, it's okay, and this is when you would just back yourself up to a wall and use the wall as a support. You want to stay here for 5 full breaths. You want your back to be as straight as possible. You really should look like an L. Last breath. Exhale, take your hands down by your sides and make your way onto your back. So bend your knees, nice little core strengthener here. Just roll onto your back, nice and slow with control. And then you're going to go ahead and take your left ankle over your right knee. Bring your right foot off of the floor. This should be a pretty good stretch for your left hip. And you're going to take your left hand and hold on to your left big toe. Your right hand will cradle the heel. And you're just going to pull your big toe back toward the knee, toward the left knee, so you're stretching. And then take your hand and fold your foot away from the knee. And then do that a couple times. Pull your big toe back and then press your toes forward. A couple times, just forward and back. And then once you've completed a few rounds of that, switch sides. Right ankle crosses over the left knee. Pick the left foot up to bring your foot closer to you. Your right hand will hold on to your right big toe and pull it back toward the knee. And then use your hand to press the toes forward. And do this a couple times, back and forth. And you can hold this stretch as long as you like, but just make sure you do a couple back and forth. And then take both feet to the floor. And we're just going to do some pelvic tilts here just to address the connective tissue in the back and hips. Draw your pubic bone to your belly button, so it's almost like rolling the tail up off the floor, and then do the opposite. So you're rolling your tail toward the floor, and that should create a little arch under your back. And then just repeat. Pubic bone to belly button, you're really pressing the back down onto the floor, your tail lifts up a bit, and then go the other way. And feel free to pause and enjoy any sensation, just moving back and forth through these pelvic tilts on your own. And then the next time you complete a round, just let your body be neutral, let your spine be neutral. Lengthen the legs and lay flat on the back for 5 breaths. Tuck your shoulders under your upper back, let your palms face the ceiling. Release the toes, ankles, and feet. Let the eyes drop closed. Soften the jaw. Release any tension in the forehead. Remember, that's the end of the superficial back line. So release the tension in the forehead. Stay here as long as you like. And try and repeat this set of stretches daily at least once.